your shoes shine and walk a mile with me. Slip a Cinderella slipper right on your feet. Take my arm, strut down the street tonight.
Hello, my name is Daniel Hamilton.
I'm Joe Drovedall.
We are the co-managers that form Team A, Adamant Penguins. Today, we will be discussing how to develop and conduct business negotiations using integrative methods. There are many facets, parts, and considerations when conducting negotiations. This presentation will briefly touch several of the key points needed in conducting business negotiations, and will highlight several major considerations within the presented key points. More specifically, we will first discuss a little bit about ourselves, then cover communication and a communication strategy. We'll cover the types of negotiations that lead to successful outcomes. We'll discuss ethics, the problem-solving component, persuasion strategies, then the best options selection process that leads to closing the deal. In alignment with Adamant Penguin's values and interests, we will then close with how to build trust and develop relationships within the negotiation process.
Adamant Penguins is a shoe manufacturing company that has been in operations for the past 20 years. This company, founded by Daniel Hamilton and Joe Drovedall, has grown to the point that it is a global leader in shoe development with over 500 models selling in North American, European and African, Latin American, and Asia Pacific regions. Adamant Penguins follows the mission statement created from its origin, which is to manufacture and provide technically advanced, stylish, high quality, and excellent value footwear for all occasions and walks of life through state-of-the-art production technologies and an economically and ecologically mindset. This has been coupled with our famous slogan, "We've got a pair for that," to give our customers value for any path of life that they follow. Whether they're looking to climb a mountain, stroll through the park, compete in the Olympics, or relax on the beach, Adamant Penguins has the perfect shoe for every occasion that will provide our customers with amazing quality and long-lasting value that leaves every customer feeling good about their purchase. So how did we do it? For starters, Adamant Penguins sees the opportunity of loan financing to give itself technological edge over its competitors in the production capabilities of its facilities. This allowed the company to produce 500 models, creating a value breadth that no other company in the industry was doing at the time. Additionally, the company was able to establish its production facilities in Latin America and Asia Pacific regions, which lowered our tariff costs and created an opportunity to receive more revenue per quarter than we've been able to producing in the other countries. Another important avenue that helped us to become the world leader in shoe production was the heavy focus on the company's marketing approaches. These approaches involved obtaining celebrity endorsements that would sell our messaging of high quality, great value shoes for every walk of life. We focused this branding out through the most heavily used social media apps of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, with a focus on visually showcasing our messaging strategy with pictures, videos, and those celebrity cameos. We also focused our branding on our slogan that "We've got a pair for that." We did this by designing a free web application and phone app that is compatible with iOS and Android phones. This app worked similarly to a dating app in that it would ask you for your interests, how often you buy new shoes, and what your price range is to narrow down our 500 models to the shoe with the perfect match for your walk of life. This app is also fitted with augmented reality feature that is similar to the one that Nike Fit uses in its apps that allows the user to view how the selected shoe looks on their own foot virtually.
Communication during negotiations typically include offers, counteroffers, motives, information about alternatives, social accounts, and communication about the process. Ethical communication is a type of communication based on specific values, such as being truthful, concise, and responsible with what one says and their impacts. Adamant Penguins recognizes the complexities and interdependent nature of globalized business, and it recognizes that its reputation is vital to achieving its vision and mission objectives. An ethical communication strategy is in alignment with maintaining a positive reputation for integrative and collaborative intercultural work, and meeting global objectives. Adamant penguins will only communicate to the other party what is known to be true and factual, with no intention to deceive or withhold parts of the truth. Responsibility for our communications means to listen carefully to what is being said, observe for nonverbal cues, use terms that are non-judgmental regardless of cultural or social differences or what is being said by the other party. Respecting privacy and confidentiality and accepting responsibility for what is said and agreed to are key to ethical communication. However, until rapport and trust are built, Adamant penguins will side with some caution, but will take the first step to initiate and build trust through ethical communication.
Negotiations are separated into two very different categories. Distributive, which focuses on obtaining a limited resource that is often being competed for, and integrative, which involves building partnerships and collaborating with the participating parties to find the best outcome for everyone at the table. Adamant Penguins has a strong desire to focus on integrative negotiations whenever possible to create a lasting business relationship with those who choose to partner with us and to create a desire for other businesses to conduct business with us in the future. With this in mind, we have a strong focus on ensuring that we understand all of the needs and desires of the company that is working with us, both before the negotiations begin, through research and inquiries, and then during the negotiation itself by asking the other party what their desires are and how they believe we can best help them achieve those desires. Once these desires are known, we would then focus our attention on how to make their desires become a reality to the best of our ability without taking a loss ourselves and creating outcomes that either see both sides receiving financial profitability or opportunities for future growth. When dealing with distributive negotiations, Adamant Penguins approaches the situation with the same mindset, but it's a little bit trickier. Since there is a limited resource at play and there are other competitors aiming to receive those resources, we realize that there is less of a leverage to conduct business with us when there are other bat nuts out there. With this in mind, we have a focus on obtaining what we need in the moment, but we also attempt to turn these distributive negotiations into integrative negotiations by aiming to create partnerships with those who want to sell us their materials or other services by showing them the value of longer lasting customers as opposed to one-time customers, and how working with the number one production company can help improve one's brand image and reputation. This helps us to receive the materials that we need at possibly a lower cost than that of competitors, while still creating opportunities and profitability for the company we're working with, which makes both sides feel as if they left the negotiating table with a win.
Although not illegal, it is best not to conduct ethically questionable tactics, such as using ambiguous language that misleads or withholds truth, using deception or subterfuge, the use of emotional manipulation, misrepresentation, bluffing, and inappropriate information gathering. Although important to recognize if they are being used against us, it is wise not to use hardball tactics in integrative negotiations, such as good cop, bad cop, low ball, high ball, the bogey, nibbling, playing chicken, or using intimidation. Although such tactics may result in larger immediate gains, they risk damaging reputation and the potential for future negotiations. Negative impacts of such may result in closed communication exchanges, the other party using ethically questionable tactics in return, or the reduced likelihood of future business exchanges. In this role play, Daniel and Joe are members of the Adamant Penguins negotiation team and are meeting to discuss strategy on upcoming negotiations to fill a manufacturing order contract. In their discussion, they come across a situation where questionable ethics may come into play. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Daniel.
So, how was your daughter Jasmine's tuba recital last night? I heard she sold out.
Oh, it was awesome. Honestly, it was a real blowout. Like, she played the first position and hit every note perfectly on her 2-minute solo. It was great. I can send you the video after the meeting if you want today.
Yeah, cool. Like that's pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, um, as for today's pre-planning meeting on our negotiations with AcmeCo, I have it on our agenda that we're discussing our information exchange with them, and more specifically, what we'll be providing AcmeCo with regards to Adamant Penguin's consumer demand reports, the reports that they'd requested last week.
Yeah, so I've got those reports right here and the numbers. So I've got them for the past 2 years that show our quarterly exponential growth, our consumer demand for those years. We can present these to Acme Co. and it will really highlight just like how much they should deal with us. It's all positive.
So you said the previous 2 years, last 2 years. Well, what about like the previous 3 quarters though? I mean, you know that since the COVID crisis, our consumer demand has kind of tapered off over the last 3 quarters. And really, to be fair and paint the whole picture, we should probably include those last 3 quarters in the report. Plus, like what if they find out we withheld the last 3 quarters from them?
Yeah, and I mean, I understand that if I were in their position, I really wouldn't want to have that information withheld either. But I mean, if we tell them that, are we going to hurt our chances to get this deal done? You know that we need this contract in order to meet our financial projections this year.
Those are good points. I mean, everyone is feeling the pinch right now, and every contract does matter. I mean, but really, I'm sure that it wouldn't hurt closing the contract, but will instead like show that we're not withholding information. I mean, something we could do, we could ask Acme Co. like how COVID has impacted their operations over the last 3 quarters, and then compare data. It would also like give us an insight on how open they are with their information.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I like that. Let's do it.
Cool. So I see it's lunchtime now. Let's go ahead and continue the rest of the agenda tomorrow. And then like I'm really looking forward to seeing those tuba videos of Jasmine.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to send those to you right away. All
Cool.
right. I'll see you,
Goodbye.
Daniel.
See you.
When Adamant Penguins approaches problem solving in negotiations, we follow 3 simple steps. The first step is to make an attempt to understand the values and goals of the other party, as well as your own goals during the framing and concessions of a negotiation. Next, once a problem has been presented that shows a conflict between concessions and offers and what has been shown to be the other party's values, we work to solve that problem in a collaborative effort. Finally, when a simple solution cannot be offered to fix the issue, find a unique way to create value for the other party or ourselves when solving the problem. We will now watch an example of how Adamant Penguins would do this. In the video, Adamant Penguins will be solving a problem with Acme Co. during a scheduling timetable issue that has come up in the negotiation.
With regards to the timetable proposal, are there any considerations or interests that prevent adjusting the proposed schedule for the first quarter?
Actually, yes, there is a large consideration. So we're in a distribution contract with Sports USA, and if we miss delivery times with them, we're responsible for up to a 10% concession. So yeah, I'd say that we need to receive our finished products by the proposed timelines so that we have enough time to ship to Sports USA and meet our obligations with them.
That does pose a couple issues, one for you and one for us. I mean, since we are still setting up to increase manufacturing capacity, we may not be able to meet the proposed timeline until the end of the first quarter. What if Adamant Penguins provides a discount for the first 3 orders to cover the cost of the 10% concession to Sports USA?
Well, I mean, that's a good solution. I like it, but we also need to consider our own reputation as Acme Co. If we were to accept that solution, then we would be missing our deadlines with Sports USA and may even risk earning a bad name because we miss those deadlines when we're in contract negotiations with other companies. So I don't think that'd be a good solution for us.
I understand. Yeah, missing deadlines and reputation are important. Now I understand. I get a better understanding. But really, now that you think about it, our deliveries may be up to 2 weeks late after each deadline. How long does it take for receiving and shipping the Sports USA?
Well, after our sorting process, which roughly 2 weeks, depending on the receiving schedule for the week, I'd say it takes about a week to ship our products to the facilities. So, yeah, about 3 weeks average for the process.
Hmm. What if we set up, Adamant Penguins set up our shipping processes and train our teams to meet your shipping specs, and we distribute directly to Sports USA? That would shave off, or should shave off, enough time and allow Acme Co to meet delivery obligations to them. We can do this temporarily until the end of the first quarter. It would also save Acme Co costs and resources, as we'll be covering those costs, like shipping.
Hmm. That's actually a pretty interesting idea. I'll need to look into our contract with Sports USA just to make sure that this is allowed, but I do like this idea a lot. I actually have a conference call with them right after this meeting, so will we be able to discuss this further after I've confirmed this with them?
Absolutely. I'm really glad that we're working this out, Joe. I'll be available for the rest of the day and really looking forward to hearing back from you.
Sure thing. I'll let you know.
Cool. It is important to note up front that when we talk about persuasion, we're not talking about coercion. Persuasion is a method to get the other party to voluntarily change their belief or action, whereas coercion uses power or threat power so the other party feels that they have no option but to give in. Positive persuasion is in alignment with integrative negotiations and work, whereas coercion falls victim to the same outcomes of ethically questionable tactics. Cialdini's has 6 laws of persuasion. We will not cover all 6 today. However, we'll put some attention on commitment and consistency and social proof, or also known as reputation, as both principles go hand in hand with each other. Commitment and consistency to identity, such as consistency in acting ethically, influences other parties' perspectives and implies that future dealings will also be conducted in an ethical manner. Commitment and consistency in working fairly and collaboratively with all parties' interests in mind builds a reputation of such in the same manner as conducting business ethically. Consensus or social proof is the evidence and feedback that customers and others who have dealt with the company provide. It builds reputation and the brand. A company's reputation and the implications behind the brand are useful tools for persuasion. In this clip, Joe and Daniel play Acme Co and Adamant Penguins negotiation teams. Acme Co recently received a better contract price offer and now have a potentially stronger BATNA. Adamant Penguins must persuade Acme Co to go with Adamant Penguins contract.
So let's talk numbers. I already received a similar offer from Clever Cool Cats for 5.2 million. You've told me that the Adamant Penguins is willing to offer a $5 million deal. Why should we agree to sign a contract that's worth less monetary value?
Well, I mean, I do understand that there are pressures for you to get the best deal for Acme Co, but Adamant Penguins is offering a long-term commitment as opposed to a one-off deal that Clever Cool Cats are known for. I mean, we prefer to conduct business through these offers more steadily than looking to gain short-term or monetary competitive advantages as other, companies are known to do. So while there may only be one contract offered from Clever Cool Cats, that's 200K less than ours, we do plan to offer multiple offers or multiple contracts of similar or greater value after this contract is completed. Um, Additionally, when we sign this contract, we're not simply signing a business contract um, or a business deal, but we view this deal as creating a partnership. I mean, this means that we will not only be looking for our own success and looking out for our own success, but we will also be looking out at how our partnership can create profit and opportunities for Acme Co as well.
You know, Daniel, it's interesting that you say that because commitment really is something that Acme Co values. Do you have any evidence that shows your commitment to other companies in the past? You know, we'd want to have physical proof to give to our strategic team before moving forward with the contract.
Hmm. Yeah, we do. So we've recently worked with Shoes R Us and have been for, the last 4 years. We've partnered with developing their Skyway brand, and our joint ventures and collaborations have led to a successful website launch. The Skyway.com launch last month, and the release of that new augmented reality app. Also to note, the stock prices, Skyway brand stock prices have been increased 27% just this last quarter.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that Shoes R Us had increased their stock prices to that extent within a short amount of time. If we were to increase our stock prices by 25 or by 27% this year, we would far exceed the 200,000 we would have earned while signing with Clever Cool Cats. This contract does hold more value through reputation than I would have thought before knowing that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Hmm. Hmm.
When approaching option selection, Adamant Penguins aims to find an integrative solution that helps the other party feel as if they've been heard and cared for by our company. We do this by first confirming what the value points of the other company are through our negotiations. We would then offer multiple options to the other party to choose from that align with these stated values and would ensure that we allow the other party to choose what works best for them without any coercion or influence from us. This helps to build confidence from the other party that they have selected an option and weren't tricked into picking one of the options. It also helps the other party to feel as if they have won the negotiation since it was of their own making. We will now watch a video that showcases how Adamant Penguins would provide options for Acme Co to choose from in order to foster a positive business relationship.
So, Joe, I just want to know before we discuss different options, what does Acme Co really want in this contract? Like, what is important to Acme Co in this contract?
Well, we need to be able to resupply our storage facilities every 2 weeks. If I were to pick our highest priority, that would definitely be what we'd hope to gain.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure we were on the same page. So if we were to distribute to Acme Co every 2 weeks, let me double check, but uh, there we have some options for that. The first thing that we could do is we could ship 5,000 to your storage facility, 5,000 units every 2 weeks, but at a $4,000 per shipment rate. Um, if you would like to increase the order above the 5,000 items within that time frame, then our asking price would be an additional $2 per item above that original order to help cover our overtime costs. Because really, that's what it's about. Our overtime costs that's what it's about for us. Um, However, taking into consideration that you want to keep costs low and we want to keep costs low, if we were given a lead time of 4 weeks on any increases of the scheduled delivery, we would be able to uh, just charged the actual prorate price of $1.25 per unit, which is the same price of the 5,000 units at a $4,000 per shipment rate.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so there's no like additional cost, but we would need that 4-week lead time. Um, and then of course, if you'd prefer smaller orders, we would be able to lower that initial $4,000 per order price at $1.25 per unit, but we would need a minimum order of $3,000 of units per shipment. And so those are some of the options that we're looking at.
Okay. Let me run those numbers real quickly. Yeah, they do seem fair. I think for us, what would be in our best interest would be to look into the 5,000 item offer every 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. That sounds great. Um, how about we look at drawing up this option on paper?
Sounds good to me.
Cool. Closing the deal in integrative negotiations may be as simple as both parties agreeing on the best option and its terms. Avoiding simple closing mistakes, such as not embracing silence, using underhanded closing tricks, not addressing questions or objections, or talking too much really should be avoided. Up to this point, much of what was negotiated may not have been committed to paper, and this would be the time to do so, and to reconfirm all of what was agreed to, and to ensure that unresolved issues weren't missed. Leaving on a positive note is always desired, as it sets a tone for future dealings. In this next video, Adamant Penguins and Acme Co. closed their deal and reconfirmed details, and that all interests were covered. Okay, now that we're nearing the closing, I just wanted to confirm the details as we're writing this on paper. That we're agreeing on a reoccurring 500 units at $4,000 to be delivered every 2 weeks. And the first 3 months of deliveries will be shipped directly from Adamant Penguins to Sports USA. And at the end of that period, Adamant Penguins will continue the shipments to Acme Co.'s storage facilities. Any order increases requested will need a 4-week lead time and will be at a cost of $2 per unit. Any request below 5,000 units will also need a 4-week lead time, and the shipment cost will be reduced by, or the unit cost will be reduced by $1.25 per unit up to a minimum order of $3,000 per shipment.
Yep, that matches all the numbers I got written down.
Okay, cool. So now, is there anything else that we need to talk about, or any considerations that come to mind that haven't been touched up on or included?
I believe that we've discussed and really just concluded every concern and need that Acme Co. wanted to solve through these negotiations. Yeah,
Cool.
really, it's been a pleasure working with you these past few weeks.
Absolutely, Joe. The pleasure was all mine. Adamant Penguins, and really, I look forward to working with you and Acme Co. in the future.
As do we.
Cool.
Where do I sign?
Nice. When using integrative negotiations, the most effective way to build trust with another party is to complete a series of multiple negotiations in which the other party's interests and concerns are addressed, are continued to be considered, and that the negotiations end in win-win outcomes. The key is that by successfully completing a series of negotiations, a pattern and reputation for being trustworthy and fair will emerge. The thing being negotiated for may be of any size or caliber. It's really the number of successful negotiations that builds the pattern. In early stages of trust building, special attention should be placed on learning whatever you can about the other party's reputation, getting to know the personality of the other party, and any cultural considerations. In the early stages of trust building, it is wise to have some caution as to the other party's trustworthiness. Using a quid quo pro method gives trust or giving trust to receive trust on smaller points, such as information exchange, will test the waters of each party's openness and trustworthiness, and may be warranted. Always listen to and pay attention to the other party's interests and underlying concerns while working towards having your interests and underlying concerns met. In this next scenario, Adamant Penguins recently finished renegotiating their shipment contract with United Shipping Co. And due to volume shipping, were able to upgrade service from ground to air and sea to air for a nominal rate increase. But the new service would reduce shipping times and needed lead time in the Acme Co. contract by 1 week. Knowing the importance that Acme Co. places on meeting their schedules to distributors, Adamant Penguins reaches out to Acme Co. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Daniel. How's it going?
Not bad. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty well.
Cool. So, thank you for agreeing to meet on such short notice.
Yeah, no problem. Honestly, it sounded a little bit urgent. You said you wanted to discuss a possible change to the original delivery system agreement?
Yes, actually, I wanted to meet about what was disclosed on in Monday's supply chain meeting. When it
Okay.
was cool. So like when it was brought up that although shipping directly from our plant to Sports USA um, allowed Acme Code to meet its distribution timeline and contract with Sports USA, you
Hmm.
had also mentioned that Sports USA has been applying some pressure and concern as there is currently like no lag time on the orders, and that Sports USA wasn't too pleased with the extra lead time needed for the order size adjustments.
Yeah, that's something that's been a little bit of an area of concern, and it's honestly starting to put a strain on our relationship with Sports USA. Um, our contract with them is actually coming up, and they want to increase order sizes, but are a little bit concerned that our delivery schedules will be missed.
Mm. Well, Adamant Penguins and I have really kept that in mind recently while we've renegotiated our contract with United Shipping. And from that outcome, I wanted to personally offer another solution option that I think you and Acme Co. would really like.
Hmm. You got my attention. What you got in mind?
Well, in finishing the deal with United Shipping, we're now able to ship volume via air instead of just by ground or uh, just by sea. So if like order sizes are increased by at least 10% per order, we're able to reduce shipping and lead time by 1 week and at no additional cost to Acme Co. Like
Oh,
that should really help with the Sports USA pressure. I mean, what do you think?
wow. That yeah, that would actually really help us out with our situation with Sports USA. Um, yeah, when can we begin working towards this increased order size?
Well, actually, we could start right away. Do you want me to just go ahead and drop the contract amendment?
Let me first, discuss the increase with Sports USA. I'm meeting with them today, just make sure everything's good, and then yeah, we can finalize the finer details later.
Okay, cool. So I'll chat with you then.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Daniel.
Yep.
So, in closing, Adamant Penguins aims to finalize all negotiations with this main viewpoint. We want to build partnerships from every negotiation. We want to maintain a reputation as ethical, collaborative negotiators. And we want to work hard to find a win win scenario to every outcome that leaves both parties feeling good after leaving the negotiation table.
And that concludes Adamant Penguin's presentation on leading business development and negotiations. Thank you.
Thank you.